Hello, and thank you for joining me for episode 2 of the Cellar. If you caught episode 1, you'll know that I am refurbishing my cellar downstairs into a drum room. So for this episode, I wanted to talk a bit more in depth about the ways in which I'm going to do that, what methods and materials I'm going to use for soundproofing. So the first thing I did, as I do with most projects, is research. I looked up online the best way of soundproofing a room, and the first thing I learned was that there is a distinct difference between what's called sound treatment and soundproofing. Now, when most people think of sticking egg boxes to walls, or those rubber foam mats that you can buy and stick to the walls, that's what's known as sound treatment. And sound treatment is designed to reduce reverberation inside the room of the noise and deaden it acoustically to improve the sound from within the room for recording. Now, what I wanted to focus on was soundproofing, which is all about insulation. It's all about stopping the noise from escaping the room to other spaces. And the ideal way to do that is to completely isolate the space from the existing walls of the room around it. So basically it means building 4 brand new walls and a ceiling within an existing room. Now, I haven't got the budget or the space to do that. My ceiling down there is 6 foot, so it's only a couple of inches above my head. So I had to figure out the best way to soundproof my room that's going to make the best use of the space I've got and also not break the bank. So let's go take a look downstairs and see what I'm doing. So this is what will eventually be my drum space. This is the area that I'm soundproofing. So what I've got already is a partition wall here on this side, and behind that partition wall is the external brickwork, and then just the ground, which I'm hoping is probably already quite soundproofing. So I think I'm pretty set on that side of the room. On the opposite side, I've got brickwork which leads to the rest of the cellar. So again, I don't think I'm going to do much to that side. Behind me I have brickwork again which leads to my neighbour's cellar, and then the same on the opposite side behind the camera. There's more brickwork to the other neighbour. So these are the 2 sides of the room I really wanted to focus on to soundproof. And again, I'm trying to do it on a pretty small budget. So the way in which I'm soundproofing is by building 2 new partition walls out of wooden stud-work. I'm going to fill these with insulation. So on the opposite side I've got just standard wall insulation, and behind me I've just got some EPS, which is expanded polystyrene, and this is insulation that's used basically to stick on the front of old houses to insulate them from the cold during the winter. So I've got some of that, stuck it straight onto the brickwork, and then I'm going to build the wall over the top. I'm then going to affix some plasterboard to the walls, or drywall if you're from the other side of the Atlantic. And the plasterboard I've got is called Sound Block, without a K, and that is a special kind of sound insulating kind of plasterboard. Now, the way I'm going to construct that is use 2 sheets, layer up 2 sheets of plasterboard, and sandwich between them an acoustic mat, which is a rubber foam, a dense rubber foam mat, which should have good soundproofing properties. So I'm hoping that that is going to protect both of my neighbours from any noise. And then on the ceiling, I'm going to take down this existing ceiling, and similarly to what I've done on the walls, fill the gaps with insulation and put up the same plasterboard and acoustic mat sandwich construction on the ceiling, on the joists. So it's not going to be ideal, it's not the best way to soundproof a room, but hopefully it will be good enough with the budget I've got to avoid any discomfort from noise. So that's it, that's my room. I don't know if it's going to work yet, we shall soon see. I'm also going to fill the room with treatment as well, because I do want to record in here. I've already got some up on the walls already, but there will be a lot more eventually. So I'll keep updating on my new social media sites with the progress of the project. Hopefully you'll see it when it's finished. The last thing I'm going to do is build a door in this doorway, and that will be constructed out of the same materials as the walls. So yeah, hopefully it works, and I will keep updating you all on the progress. Hey guys, so since filming that little section of this episode downstairs, I've actually began work on fixing the plasterboard to the walls that I'm building. Now, I've learnt a couple more things since starting that, which I thought might be helpful to share. First which is plasterboard and the acoustic matting that I'm using. Holy shit, is that stuff heavy. It was a struggle to do it by myself, so if anyone out there is planning a similar project, I would definitely recommend that you rope in a friend to help. Offer to buy them dinner or beer to persuade them, but yeah, that would make the job a lot easier. The acoustic matting I found was just too heavy to stay on the walls when I tried to put it up in larger sheets. So the best thing to do when you put up the acoustic matting is to cut it into strips. This is what I found. Cut it into strips of about 30 centimeters or 12 inches, and that sufficiently lightens it enough to stay on the wall with just a few fixings. Now, when you do that, you know, it doesn't matter if it doesn't look incredibly neat, because you're going to cover it with a second layer of plasterboard anyway. So hopefully this video will help anyone out there who is planning to soundproof a room. I found that although it's physically demanding to, you know, lift all that shit around down there, in terms of actual skill level of building work, it's not that difficult. You know, with a little bit of planning you can do it. You know, I don't have a great deal of building experience. You know, I do the odd job around my house, but this is the first time I've actually built a partition wall, and you know, I've not had too much of an issue with it. So I'm hoping this video has been informative, and I'm going to include a short step-by-step guide at the end of the episode that goes into a bit more detail of how to construct the partition walls for soundproofing that I'm doing, and I'm going to include some of the resources that I found online in the video description below. So if you enjoyed this episode and you want to hear more from me, please like and subscribe, and be sure to check out my new social media accounts at the Beats Cellar on Instagram and Facebook. And please stick around for the next episode. Hopefully I'll have something more fun to show you guys. Thanks for watching.